Now, it's been one of the most anticipated comebacks in pop. After 40 years, ABBA are finally back with a new studio album.
After a 4-decade hiatus, one of pop music's most eagerly awaited comebacks is finally here. ABBA has returned with a brand new studio album. But that's not all. Fans can also look forward to a sequel to Mamma Mia, titled Here We Go Again. And according to Benny Andersson, this next chapter is less a sequel and more of a prequel, diving into the untold stories that led the band to the idyllic island setting we all know. For years, speculation swirled about the reasons behind ABBA's breakup, but now Benny has opened up in a rare and candid interview, revealing the raw, often painful truths behind the dissolution of the iconic group. The perfect pop couple, Benny and Anni-Frid Frida Lyngstad, once captured the adoration of millions, yet beneath the glitter and fame, their relationship was far from flawless. What exactly tore them apart? Was it the relentless pressures of fame, personal struggles, or something deeper? Tonight, we peel back the curtain and expose the emotional fracture lines that fractured this legendary partnership. Benny Andersson confirms that love soured in the tumultuous 1970s as ABBA dominated the global pop scene. Though Benny and Frida's romance unfolded alongside the band's meteoric rise, their seemingly perfect union was quietly unraveling. The dazzling costumes and chart-topping hits masked the growing tension that would eventually pull them apart. Their story began years before ABBA was even a concept. Benny first crossed paths with Frida in 1969 at a music festival in Sweden. Frida was making waves in the local folk scene, while Benny was already a star with the Hep Stars, Sweden's answer to the Beatles. He was captivated immediately by her fiery red hair and powerhouse voice, qualities that set her apart from anyone he had ever encountered. Their connection was electric and immediate. For ABBA fans, the band's reunion after 35 years is nothing short of a dream come true. But beyond being just musicians, Benny and Frida were two passionate artists, united by a shared dream. Back in 1975, Frida told a Swedish magazine that meeting Benny just felt right. She found in him a rare understanding of her love for music, unlike anyone else she had known. For Benny, it was more than just Frida's vocal talent. Her fierce independence and raw energy made her unique. As ABBA's sound took shape, so did Benny and Frida's relationship. While fellow bandmates Björn and Agnetha occupied the spotlight as the more visible couple, Benny and Frida worked tirelessly behind the scenes, crafting the melodies and emotions that would define ABBA's timeless legacy. Benny's knack for unforgettable melodies, paired with Frida's ability to pour genuine emotion into every note, helped create the magic that still resonates today. But fame came at a steep price. As ABBA's star exploded across the globe in the mid-1970s, the relentless pressure began to take its toll, especially on Benny Andersson. Known for his perfectionism, Benny spent countless hours in the studio, obsessively refining every note and nuance of their songs. His meticulous approach, however, sometimes clashed with Frida's more spontaneous, emotion-driven style. The very qualities that had once made them a dynamic duo now quietly pulling them apart. Their challenges extended beyond the music. Fame itself became a source of tension. Benny preferred the quieter moments away from the spotlight, keeping a low profile when not on stage. Frida, on the other hand, embraced the social whirlwind that came with celebrity life. Friends and colleagues started to notice the growing strain between the two, especially during ABBA's extensive world tours, where the glittering veneer could no longer mask the cracks beneath. By 1979, those cracks had deepened. Benny threw himself further into his work, burning the midnight oil in the studio, while rumors began swirling about his growing connection with Mona Nurkliet, a television producer he had met during an ABBA TV special. The inevitable happened in early 1981. Benny confessed to Frida that his feelings for Mona had grown too strong to ignore. The revelation hit Frida like a thunderbolt. Though they tried to maintain professionalism for the sake of the band, the heartbreak was undeniable. After 9 years together, their personal and creative partnership had come to an end. In a rare and emotionally raw interview with Expression, Benny's hands trembled as he struggled to articulate the unraveling of their relationship. "Do we have to keep that song because it was in the previous movie? Couldn't we swap it for something else?" he recalled, an attempt to shift focus away from the personal pain behind the music. While he insisted they remained friends, those close to the couple could see the deep wounds beneath the surface. For Frida, it was more than just losing a partner. It was a betrayal of everything they had built together, both in love and in music. The breakup cast a long shadow over ABBA. Although they continued recording, the spark that once fueled their creativity and passion had dimmed. Both couples who had defined the band were now fractured, and that heartbreak seeped into their songs. Classics like The Winner, Takes It All, and When All Is Said and Done resonated with a new, bittersweet intensity. Lyrics that fans now understood were steeped in real pain. While the world witnessed ABBA's golden couples breaking apart, few truly grasped the emotional toll behind the scenes. That all changed one May morning in 1981 when journalist Lars Johansson walked into the Expressen offices, unaware that his upcoming interview would unravel the private heartbreak that forever altered the public's perception of ABBA. In the bustling newsroom of Expressen, Benny Andersson sat at a desk, visibly nervous, fidgeting with a pack of cigarettes. The confident, composed musician who had once commanded sold-out stages was nowhere to be found. His hands trembled ever so slightly, and his eyes bore the weight of sleepless nights and heartache. The past weeks had taken their toll, etched into every subtle movement. For weeks, Benny had skillfully dodged the inevitable questions swirling around ABBA's personal and professional turmoil. But now, there was no escaping the truth he had long avoided. The man behind some of pop music's most unforgettable melodies sat uneasy, bracing himself for a conversation he had dreaded deeply. "I don't know how other people get through moments like this," he confessed, his voice barely above a whisper. Each word hung heavy with uncertainty, vulnerability laid bare. A faint haze of smoke curled upward, weaving a fragile barrier between him and the uncomfortable truths he was finally daring to share. The songwriter who had effortlessly penned ABBA's greatest hits was now struggling to find words for his own heartbreak. The newsroom hummed with quiet anticipation. This wasn't just another celebrity interview. It was the first authentic glimpse into the unraveling of ABBA's most iconic couple. Fans had speculated wildly for weeks. Tabloids had whispered dark rumors. But now Benny was breaking his silence. Every sentence carried the raw weight of a love story collapsing far quicker than anyone had anticipated. Across the desk, the reporter listened intently, so absorbed by the moment that his untouched coffee slowly cooled. When the subject of Mona Nurklet arose, Benny attempted to downplay it, introducing her as "my new woman," with a half-hearted laugh that barely masked his discomfort. The room fell into a thick, uneasy silence as the reality of his confession settled in. Despite his efforts to soften the blow, the tension behind his forced smile was unmistakable. The atmosphere shifted when Benny began to speak about ABBA's future. For a fleeting moment, he shed the polished, carefully curated image that had long defined the band. He spoke candidly, admitting the group wasn't perfect, and acknowledging the immense pressures fame had brought. With a touch of weary humor, he joked, "I don't see myself still dancing on stage with a beer belly at 45. His exhaustion was palpable, a rare glimpse behind the curtain of pop stardom. That same week, Frida Lindstad sat down for her own interview, radiating the quiet strength that had always defined her. Graceful and composed, she spoke with a calm optimism. "Yes, I'm very excited," she said softly. "It would be wonderful to meet the fans again because, Honestly, it doesn't happen that often. Refusing to linger on bitterness or regret, Frida reflected on the pain of the breakup, but revealed a surprising resilience. While the end of their relationship had been heartbreaking, she had found a new sense of clarity and purpose, a way to move forward both personally and artistically. Frida found comfort in someone new, a Swedish businessman whose name she chose to keep private, a quiet refuge from the storm that had engulfed her life. There was a delicate balance of resilience and vulnerability in her words as she spoke to Expressen. Marriage no longer felt like a necessity. What mattered most was love, in whatever form it came. Love, she insisted, was always worth holding on to. The Expressen article marked a pivotal moment for ABBA. It tore away the glossy veneer of pop perfection and exposed the very human struggles behind the music icons. The band continued to create for another year and a half, but something had undeniably shifted. The radiant spark that had defined them now flickered with a subtle sadness, an undercurrent that even their most buoyant songs could not fully disguise. Behind ABBA's dazzling global success lay a story few knew, one that defined the journey of one of its brightest stars. From outcast to pop royalty, the remarkable journey of Annie Frid Lyngstad. In the waning months of 1945, as the world rejoiced at the end of the devastating Second World War, a baby girl was born in a quiet Norwegian town. Her name was Annie Frid Lyngstad, though the world would come to know her simply as Frida. Her arrival, however, was far from a moment of celebration. Born to a Norwegian mother and a German soldier, Frida entered a world still raw and healing from the brutal scars of war. That lineage marked her as an outcast before she could even walk. Her mother, Cindy Lyngstad, had fallen in love with Alfred Haas, a German soldier stationed in Norway during the occupation. What began as a wartime romance soon became a heavy, lifelong burden. When the war ended, Norway was desperate to rebuild, and those associated with the enemy faced ruthless backlash. Norwegian women who had relationships with German soldiers were publicly shamed, branded traitors, and met with open hostility. Their children, innocent and powerless, bore the weight of a nation's anger. Life in post-war Norway was anything but easy for young Frida. She grew up believing that her father had died during the war, a story carefully crafted by her family to shield her from a more complicated truth. Determined to leave behind the pain and stigma, Cindy made the heartbreaking decision to leave Norway. With nothing but hope and courage, she and Frida crossed the border into Sweden, eventually settling in the industrial town of Torshälla. Life there was hard, filled with challenges and uncertainty, but Cindy's determination to protect her daughter never wavered. Together, they navigated a new beginning in a land that was sometimes indifferent, sometimes unwelcoming, but one that would eventually witness Frida's transformation from war child to one of pop music's most beloved voices. Cindy worked tirelessly to provide for her daughter, stitching clothes by day as a seamstress and tucking Frida into bed at night. She did everything within her power to build a life where her daughter could feel safe, loved, and free from the shadows of their past. For young Frida, music was more than a pastime. It was a sanctuary. In a world where she often felt like an outsider, singing became her refuge, a place where she found belonging and solace. By the age of 11, she was already stepping onto small stages at local events, her voice carrying a maturity and emotional depth far beyond her years. The townspeople began to take notice, but no one was prouder than her grandmother. While Cindy labored long hours to support the family, it was Frida's grandmother who nurtured her burgeoning love for music. Scraping together whatever little she could, she bought Frida her first record player and a small collection of treasured vinyl records. Each spin of the turntable was a portal to another world, one where Frida lost herself in melody, dreaming of a life far bigger than the quiet streets of Torshälla. In a candid 1975 interview with Swedish radio, Frida shared that music was her escape. "When I sing," she explained, "everything else fades away. No one questions my past or where I come from. All that matters is the music." For a girl who had grown up feeling isolated, those moments on stage offered a rare and precious sense of acceptance. The spotlight did not judge, it simply illuminated, allowing her voice to tell a story far greater than her circumstances. By 13, Frida was no longer just dreaming. She was making her dreams a reality. She formed a band, the Anni-Frid Four, and spent her early teens performing wherever she could find an audience. By 16, she was touring Sweden with a big band, singing jazz standards in packed dance halls. Her deep, soulful voice captivated listeners, and it wasn't long before industry professionals took notice. In 1967, EMI Records gave her a chance to step into the spotlight on her own, releasing her first single. This was the beginning of a journey far grander than she had ever imagined. Yet just as ABBA was beginning to take shape in the early 1970s, a long-buried truth about Frida's father resurfaced. A German magazine had tracked down Alfred Hasse, the man she had been told was dead, only to discover he was very much alive and living in Germany. In 1977, a reunion was arranged, but the moment was far from the heartwarming encounter one might expect. Instead, it was marked by uncomfortable silences, awkward glances, and questions left hanging in the air. Frida later described their first meeting as two strangers trying to bridge a chasm that had grown too wide over 3 decades. Despite their efforts, the emotional distance between them proved insurmountable. The father she had spent years wondering about was finally standing before her, yet the connection she longed for remained frustratingly elusive. Anni-Frid Lyngstad's life story is not just about stardom, it is a poignant tale of identity, rejection, and resilience. Born amidst the turmoil of war, her very existence was entangled in a dark chapter of history, a grand Nazi scheme that sought to manipulate bloodlines and loyalties. Despite the heavy shadow cast by her origins, Frida, once an outcast in her homeland due to her German roots, rose to become a global icon. Her voice echoed in arenas and living rooms across the world, touching millions and transcending the pain of her past. From war child to pop sensation, she had conquered countless hurdles. Yet fame's bright lights could only illuminate so much. When she traded her shimmering stage costumes for a real tiara, the question remained: would Anni-Frid Lyngstad find the peace and happiness she had spent a lifetime searching for? After ABBA disbanded and her marriage to Benny Andersson ended, Frida's life took an unexpected turn toward fairy tale territory. In 1992, she married Prince Heinrich Rousseau-Royce of Plauen, a union that instantly transformed her from beloved pop star to princess. The Swedish press erupted with headlines. Their cherished ABBA star was now royalty, residing in a grand Swiss castle overlooking the serene beauty of Lake Geneva. It was a storybook moment that captured imaginations worldwide. But life within the palace walls was far from the glittering fantasy many envisioned. The free-spirited woman who once captivated audiences with her electrifying performances found herself entangled in a complex web of rigid royal protocols. Every public appearance, every carefully chosen word, had to conform to centuries-old traditions and etiquette that felt alien compared to her past life. The freedom she had known as a performer, the spontaneity, the creative expression, was replaced by the heavy weight of expectations and conformity. Frida was left grappling with a profound question. Was this royal existence truly the dream she had imagined? In a candid 1993 interview with a Swiss newspaper, Frida opened up about the stark contrast between her old and new worlds. The aristocratic lifestyle was completely different from anything I had ever known, she said. Her days were now filled with complicated titles, formal dinners, and endless social obligations, a far cry from the electric atmosphere of concert halls and recording studios. Prince Heinrich's social circle was worlds apart from the vibrant music scene she had left behind. Gone were the late nights and creative bursts. Instead, her calendar overflowed with charity galas, diplomatic functions, and formal events. While Heinrich was deeply respected in royal circles, he held clear expectations for his wife. Expectations that left little room for the artistic freedom Frida had once cherished. The freedom Frida once reveled in on stage, the raw, unfiltered expression through music and performance, now seemed like a distant memory, a world apart from her new reality. Once free to chase her artistic passions, she found herself confined within the rigid expectations of royal life, a role that left little room for the artist she had been. Yet, nothing could have prepared Frida for the shattering heartbreak that awaited her in 1998. Her world came crashing down when her daughter, Anna Lisa Long, tragically lost her life in a car accident in New York. Anna, only 30 years old, was far more than a daughter. She was Frida's closest confidant, the person who truly understood the extraordinary twists and turns of her life. Their bond had been unbreakable, forged through shared experience and mutual understanding. Anna had witnessed her mother's transformation, from war child to pop sensation, and eventually to princess, and had stood by her side through it all. Losing her was a wound that cut deeper than anyone could fathom. In the wake of this unimaginable loss, Frida retreated from the public eye, seeking solace in the quiet solitude of her Swiss home. The glamorous world that once surrounded her, from royal galas to flashing cameras, felt hollow and irrelevant in comparison to the overwhelming grief she carried. Even her royal duties, which once commanded her attention, seemed trivial against the vast emptiness left by Anna's passing. In this darkest chapter, Frida found an unexpected source of comfort, someone she might never have imagined turning to, Benny Andersson. Despite their complicated history and years of tension, Benny reached out with empathy and understanding. He, too, knew the unique pressures of life under the relentless spotlight, the weight of fame that could both elevate and isolate. Their shared past in ABBA created a bond Frida couldn't find elsewhere. It wasn't the grandeur of public adoration or the glittering world of royalty. But in those quiet, private moments, it was exactly what she needed. By the early 2000s, Frida had largely faded from public view. The woman who had endured wartime rejection, conquered global music stages, and embraced royal titles had now embraced privacy. She made occasional appearances at ABBA-related events, but for the most part, she chose peace over publicity, retreating to her serene sanctuary by Lake Geneva, away from the cameras, away from expectations. While Frida stepped back from the spotlight, ABBA's legacy only grew brighter, their music continuing to inspire new generations. But what if you could experience the magic of ABBA in a way you never imagined? A new era of music and technology promises to take the band's timeless journey even further, blending nostalgia with innovation. From their meteoric rise in the 1970s to their enduring influence on pop culture worldwide, ABBA's story is a testament to resilience, reinvention, and the power of music to transcend time, just like Frida's own extraordinary life. ABBA's impact on pop culture is undeniable. Though the group officially parted ways in 1982, their legacy has only deepened over the decades. It all began in 1974 when a Swedish quartet took the stage at the Eurovision Song Contest, captivating audiences worldwide and setting the stage for a meteoric rise. Their music, filled with catchy melodies and heartfelt lyrics, has continued to resonate with fans across generations, long after their initial split. But in 2021, ABBA proved that their legacy isn't just about nostalgia, it's about innovation and looking boldly toward the future. That year, the band released Voyage, their first studio album in 40 years. The music world and fans alike celebrated the release, which was met with critical acclaim and a reminder that ABBA's signature sound is timeless. What truly set this comeback apart, however, wasn't just the album itself. It was how ABBA redefined the live concert experience. Enter ABBA Voyage, a groundbreaking residency show in London that blended cutting-edge technology with live performance. Rather than simply touring in the traditional sense, ABBA took a leap into the digital age by performing alongside their own digital avatars, hyper-realistic avatars, created through 7 years of painstaking development and a staggering $175 million investment. Using motion capture technology and special effects, these avatars replicate Benny, Björn, Agnetha, and Frida as they appeared in their prime, younger, vibrant, and full of life. The band members spent an entire month in motion capture suits to ensure their movements were captured with precision, making the avatars' performances as authentic as possible. Since opening in May 2022, ABBA Voyage has sold over 1.3 million tickets, becoming a global phenomenon. Fans from over 140 countries have traveled thousands of miles to witness this revolutionary concert, eager to experience a fresh chapter in ABBA's remarkable story. For many, the show is more than just a performance. It's an emotional journey, rekindling memories of youth and the magic of ABBA's greatest hits. The band even made a surprise appearance during the show's first anniversary in 2023, waving to the crowd as their avatars performed on stage, a moment that fans described as unforgettable, blending the real with the virtual in a way that felt truly magical. ABBA Voyage takes place in a custom-built arena near Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park in London, designed specifically to deliver an immersive, unparalleled concert experience. With a 10-piece live band supporting the avatars, dazzling visual effects, and a production team of nearly 200 people, every detail is engineered to create a show that's as emotionally powerful as it is technologically stunning. But the avatars don't just replicate the old hits. They breathe new life into them. Each performance is unique, dynamically shaped by the energy and reactions of the audience, blurring the line between a traditional concert and a futuristic spectacle. It's a testament to ABBA's ability to innovate while honoring their legacy, proving that even after decades, their music continues to inspire and captivate the world. The atmosphere inside the ABBA Voyage venue is nothing short of electric, an extraordinary blend of excitement, nostalgia, and innovation that captivates everyone who steps through its doors. On any given night, the crowd is a vibrant tapestry of humanity, from devoted lifelong fans who grew up with ABBA's iconic melodies echoing through their formative years, to younger generations experiencing these timeless songs for the very first time. This diverse audience reflects the universal appeal of ABBA's music, a rare and beautiful phenomenon where generations converge, united by the power of song. What makes the ABBA Voyage experience truly remarkable is how it bridges the past and the future. Rather than simply presenting a conventional concert, the event immerses attendees in a digital universe where technology and artistry intertwine seamlessly. The band's legendary hits are brought to life by lifelike digital avatars, created through painstakingly advanced motion capture and CGI technology. These avatars perform with astonishing realism, capturing not only the visual likeness of Benny, Björn, Agnetha, and Frida, but also their distinctive mannerisms, stage presence, and energy. For many fans, this is more than a concert. It's a transformative journey. It allows those who lived through ABBA's original heyday to relive cherished memories in an entirely new way, while also introducing younger fans to the magic of a band whose music has proven timeless. The venue buzzes with a shared sense of wonder, as audiences watch and listen, enveloped in a spectacle that honors the past while boldly embracing the future. Despite the overwhelming success and critical acclaim of ABBA Voyage, The band members have made their stance on future plans abundantly clear. Traditional live tours are not part of their vision. This decision surprised many, especially considering the magnitude of their fan base worldwide and the demand for a live ABBA reunion tour. Reports surfaced of a staggering $1 billion offer for a global tour, an offer the band famously declined. Instead, ABBA chose to preserve the unique experience of their digital concert as an exclusive, location-specific event at the ABBA Voyage Arena in London. This decision reflects the band's commitment to innovation and control over their artistic legacy. By limiting the digital avatar's performances to this state-of-the-art venue, ABBA continues to redefine what a live concert can be. It's a revolutionary approach that challenges traditional notions of live music, where fans no longer need to travel across continents to witness their idols, and artists can perform with a level of precision and spectacle that transcends human limitations. Moreover, the ABBA Voyage project speaks to the evolving relationship between technology and the arts. It exemplifies how digital advancements can enhance the concert-going experience without replacing the emotional connection that music fosters. Through this blend of nostalgia and cutting-edge technology, ABBA has crafted a new paradigm for performance, one that preserves the essence of live music while pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Beyond the spectacle and innovation, there is also a deeply human story beneath the surface. ABBA's history is marked not only by chart-topping hits but also by complex personal dynamics, particularly the relationships between band members. The famously intertwined romances of Benny and Frida, as well as Björn and Agnetha, influenced not just the band's chemistry on stage, but also the emotional texture of their music. Their love stories, with all their joys and heartbreaks, have become part of the ABBA legend. So this leads to a compelling question for fans and observers alike. How did the pressures of fame and the intense spotlight affect the dynamics between Benny and Frida? What might have been done differently to nurture their relationship and perhaps preserve some of the original magic that ABBA created together? Could a different approach to balancing their personal and professional lives have changed the band's trajectory? We'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections on this. Drop your opinions in the comments below. What's your take on the impact of fame on their relationships? Do you think the story of Benny and Frida holds lessons for how personal connections can survive or falter under the glare of stardom? And while you're here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful explorations into the stories behind your favorite stars and cultural phenomena. We dive deep into the human side of fame, innovation, and artistry, bringing you thoughtful content that goes beyond the headlines. From the vantage point of the industry and observers alike, the question remains, what will become of Zuckerberg's metaverse gamble? Is this the beginning of a monumental comeback story where setbacks are merely temporary hurdles on the path to eventual success? Or is this the closing chapter of a bold experiment that failed to resonate with users and investors alike? Some argue that Zuckerberg's resilience and visionary mindset could yet transform the metaverse concept into something revolutionary, learning from initial failures to build a more robust and user-friendly digital realm. Others see the mounting challenges and lukewarm reception as signs that the metaverse, at least in its current incarnation, is unlikely to fulfill its promise. This debate fuels ongoing conversations within the tech community and beyond, inviting everyone, from casual observers to industry insiders, to weigh in on what this all means for the future of virtual reality and digital interaction. We'd love to hear your perspective on Zuckerberg's bold investment in the metaverse. Do you believe he has the tenacity and innovation to bounce back stronger than ever? Or do you think this signals a definitive end to the metaverse's potential? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We are eager to engage with your opinions. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth analyses and updates on the latest in technology and celebrity news. Before you leave, be sure to check out the next video playing on your screen. You won't want to miss what's coming next in this fascinating story.